Good morning, designers, and welcome to what is actually episode 127 of Game of Rugs. I thought that was what it was last week. I was mistaken because I cannot count. So today is the answer part of our questions and answers set. This is the second one that we've done, and we have some fun questions. So the first question comes from Hala Miss Musica, and the question is, what level are you at? And I am at level 61, which means I have won these delightful and charming sunflower decor items. They're really awful. I'm not a big fan of the level prizes recently. Like, this stuff would be useful in a nursery, except all of the nurseries that we've had for the past 3 weeks have been shrouded in black for Halloween, so that's not really a mood. Level 59 was useful. I'm still trying to use up maybe my last two art pieces from level 59. I love all the stuff for level 58. It's very difficult to use. I used all the level 57 stuff. Level 56 was very easy to use. So sometimes you're really looking forward to a level, and then you get there and it turns out to be less useful than you thought. Pardon me, you thought it might be. I am really looking forward to level 62, however, because I want that bronze round wall thing really, really, really badly. That's going to be so useful. So that's where I am, level 61, and I just want to see if I can show you those sunflowers, they're hard to use. I use them for this. This is going to score like utter garbage. And what else? I tried to use them for something that I might not have submitted yet. Maybe I decided, this. Yes. I worked unreasonably hard to use this art in this room, and it still looks ridiculous, and it's terrible, and it's going to score. That room is a 4.31 waiting to happen. So that's the answer to that question. I am at level 61. My favorite color scheme so far is, I'm a big fan of yellow. Let's wait a second. Sorry. And yellow and gray is my favorite color combination to work with. I loved, there have been a couple of runs of items that included yellow, and I have bought extra art for those. But the thing is that as you level up, it becomes less important to do that, I think, because you just have access to more stuff. So we can talk about that in 1 second, because there's another question that deals with that as well. What do you think is a reasonable amount of money to spend on Design Home each month? That is a really complicated question. So the way my husband and I run our household budget is we have an income, we pay all of our bills, and each one of us gets a personal allowance. So I spend, it's not a huge amount of money. We don't have a lot of needs, but like if you want to go have coffee or, you want to have lunch with a friend or whatever, that's it. That expenditure comes out of our personal allowance. It's not a vast amount of money. It's like 200 euros or $200 a month. And I budget a quarter of that for Design Home. So I'm spending $50 a month on Design Home. Please keep in mind we are in the middle of a pandemic. So I'm not having coffee with people. I'm not going anywhere. And I never really had. I'm not one of those people who runs to Hobby Lobby or whatever and spends, a bunch of money on stuff. So that works for me. That leaves me plenty of money for Design Home and plenty of money for the other stuff that I need to do. But the key is that the money is budgeted for. It's not coming out of grocery money. It's not coming out of, rent or electric bill money. It is set aside specifically for personal expenditure. This room was really nice, and these people who voted to not give me a really nice score for this room are terrible people. So I think what's reasonable is what you can afford, and that may change. Our household is changing in the course of a pandemic and changing employment situations, and what I can afford may change. It may well change. It may go up. It may go down. Who knows? We'll find out. This person, oh, you know what? It might be the rug. Did everybody used a limited edition rug of some description here? Like, I don't think this is a great room, you guys. It's just I'm not impressed. It's fine. I think mine was nicer. It's a cool looking room. Very annoying. Anyway, so that's where we are with that. And right, Florina Kostica wants to know what limited edition items are you using more and stocking up on? And I'm not. I'm not. And the reason that I used to, but as you go up in levels, you just have so much shit. Sometimes the things that I will stock up on, here, like, let's just have a look. Plants. I really just like a simple plant. So I did stock up on some of the black potted plants from earlier in the month. I guess I've used them all. But if the plant isn't less money than the plant that I buy the most of, almost all of by far, the item I spend the most on is, where is it? This plant, a traveler's palm, and it's my most purchased item. So if there's a really nice plant and it's less money than 925 diamonds, I will stock up on that just to save money. But I just feel like I have so much stuff. And I used to, when you're at a lower level, you just have far less stuff available to you. But I will say that the stuff that I have bought the most of in my design home career are these level 6 black vases. They're just so useful and inexpensive. And then I waited so long to be level 55 just for these, which are, again, so useful and so decorative. When there are pillows, I do buy the fuck out of them. If I can buy them as an individual set, I will buy 2 or 3 sets. And as a result, I have 1 orange pillow set, 2 of these left, 1 of these left, and I think and some other ones. So what I do think is that people who really, really like what are they called? The seaside, the coastal stuff. People who super love coastal rooms, which I do not, stock up on coastal items when those sets become available. And that is smart because no matter what level you are until I think level 80, there's just not a lot of coastal stuff available to you, and that makes those rooms very challenging to do. But I'm not a huge fan of coastal, and I don't stock those items because I don't really care. If I can't put a room together, I'll just skip it, and it doesn't pain my heart to not be able to do a coastal room. Damn it, Karen! I loved this room. What is the problem here? This was a really nice room. I mean, sorry, I thought I was going to get a 5 on this room. Why did I not? Oh, God. Because people were still expending their limited edition. Rugs and plants and... This is, by the way, what I mean about the coastal stuff. Level 97, that painting. This is very annoying. Ugh. I mean, it's fine. That's fine. But this was a nice room. I'm just very annoyed now. Alright, well, anyway, there was that. Stevnated asks, you sound like an American. How did you come to be living in Ireland? I moved to London in 1997, and I met my husband there, who has an Irish passport, and we got married. And a year after we got married, we moved to Ireland because it was so expensive to live in London. And the amount of London that we were actually using was physically about the same size as Cork, the city that we're living in now. And so that's how that happened. I cleverly married an Irishman. So that's how I came to live in Ireland, via London. Also, do you like living there? Yes, I do. I love living in Ireland. I used to, I'm a pretty content person. You can stick me anywhere and I will be pretty happy and I'll make it work. But I do love living here, and certainly I have come to appreciate it as more and more as things have changed. In the past 10 years, I've had an exploding appendix, and I was in the hospital for 10 days. And a stuck kidney stone. I was in the hospital twice for that. An exploded gallbladder, a heart condition, like all of this stuff. And I've gotten, really good medical care here. And in the United States, I would have been medically bankrupt several times over without any question. So I'm very happy to live here, both in terms of where the politics in this country are, and the healthcare thing is a big one for me. Michael asked, during voting, are you ever surprised at the high scores for fugly designs that don't deserve them? Jesus, yes. Did we not? We just discussed this, I'm sure, with this. Like, this is fine. This is a nice room. But some of the other rooms, What is going on? Okay. Sometimes I do look at rooms that I thought were fine, or look at the rooms that won, and I think in the last episode we had one where one of the rooms that won was so unattractive that I was seriously, seriously concerned for the room that it was up against. Like, if that room won, how bad was the room people were voting against? It was mind blowing. But yeah, sometimes really shitty rooms do creep to the top. And sometimes really nice rooms don't get the scores they deserve. Generally, I feel like over time, those two things even out. Like, there are a lot of mediocre rooms that get fives, and equally mediocre rooms that fail to score above fours. And I feel like that same is true on either end of the spectrum there. And it does all even out. I am feeling like I deserve a huge run of fives because I can't even remember the last time I got a five. It's been a long time. Also, I've had a run of super shitty scores. Like, I really liked this room. It got a 3.87. And it did that because everybody else used black and white for Halloween. Fine, whatever. So I've had very, very, very poor scores and very few fives lately. Probably fewer fives than I've had ever. I think the last 2 weeks has been my worst run in terms of not getting fives. There have been very, very few and far between. So I don't know. I mean, like, it's been a week and I've had 1 5 since this, which I got in our last. No, sorry, this is the only five I've gotten since the one from our last show, that red and white one. So it has been great. What else? What sorts of designs? Spider Van wants to know what sorts of design challenges do you avoid? Outdoors, not good at them, don't like them. Not, and my second least favorite is nurseries. But I have found that over the past, even though we just went, no, we're going into, I think we're going into the no limited edition item week. I do get bored of the themed rooms. Like, every time I opened a room and it was sage and I was supposed to use that sage stuff on it, I just closed it and moved on. The same with the rooms that were black. I really liked black and white, but I got sick of it. Black and gold, got sick of that. So more and more, I just like the rooms where you can, the weeks where there isn't a limited edition run and you can do whatever you want. I like those best. But yeah, definitely, I'm not good at outdoors. I just put indoor furniture in them, and then it doesn't go that well. Spider-Man added that she's realized that she's usually too cheap to put 2 couches or 4 chairs in a single design unless she's absolutely in love with the look of the set. And I do understand that. I pay cash for my rugs, and like, my favorite chairs are $154. I don't use diamonds for furniture. So I don't really have that problem. We talked about this a bit in the Elite episode, which I'll link below. Yeah. So that's pretty much that. I've opened all my terrible scores. I've answered all your questions. I did today's daily. Sorry. No, we're not trying to vote. We're trying to scroll. Okay. I really like that lamp. I'd like to win that. We're going to be looking at this lamp for a while. I finished my Barbie's Greek villa, and I've been looking for an an excuse to start dumping this stuff that I really, really dislike. And this is that excuse. So this is the room I'm submitting for this. And off it goes. And just before we say goodbye, I just want to see if there's anything else that I really wanted to... This was my favorite room that I've done in a long time. I love this room. It is not going to score well because this art doesn't score well, but I loved the pattern mixing and just the warmth of the wood and the bronze tables and stuff. So this is my favorite room in a really long time. I loved doing it. It's not going to score well. And what else did I want to show you? This one. Speaking of that sage stuff or teal or whatever color it is, I have high hopes for this room, but they will undoubtedly be crushed. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode of Game of Rugs. Normal service will resume next weekend. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see future episodes of Game of Rugs, please feel free to become a subscriber. We would love to have you. Bye now.